Hey everyone, Duke here, and today I just want to go over a quick video going over the new event with the Bento Tokens and some of the rewards that we can get from this event. To start, there's going to be quests that you can pick up from the Drifter, and you're going to definitely want to start by picking these up as that's going to allow you to actually start the event. And once you get these quests, you can go ahead and start doing them to get Bento Tokens. There's only going to be 4 quests available right now, but there will be more this weekend from Xur, and also seemingly next week, according to this Packed Lunch quest. There's going to be more Past is Prologue quests unlocking next week, and from Xur this weekend. Once you've done 5 of them, you're going to be able to get the Chatterwhite shader, which is a returning shader from D1 that a lot of people are excited about. So you won't actually be able to do that immediately right away because there's only 4 quests and you need to do 5 of them, but by the time this weekend comes, we'll be able to get this shader by doing all 5 quests. Now, most of these quests are pretty easy. The first one that I already did was just getting kills with Malfeasance, Witherhoard, Arbalist, a couple other options, but I just went with Malfeasance and actually ended up just going to the beginning of the Grasp of Avarice dungeon. That was really, really fast to get some of the kills. Honestly, I wouldn't even necessarily recommend doing it that way. I just wanted to kind of see what the rewards would be from finishing one as fast as possible. But what I would probably more recommend is just throwing on, personally, Malfeasance if you have it, just because it's a primary and it's easy to get a lot of kills. But doing that and then kind of multitasking some of the other ones, you're going to need to play Gambit and defeat combatants on the moon. The moon one, actually, you can also combine with Nightmare Hunts. The Nightmare Hunts is definitely the recommended way of doing the activities on the moon here. That's going to require you to do just 3 of them. You can do them on the easiest mode in the match made mode, so you can get through these really fast. And then there's also going to be a requirement to do either a final encounter of a raid or dungeon. Now this one I know might be a little bit trickier for people. Not everybody has teams for raids and dungeons. I do plan on doing some dungeon clears on stream tonight. So I promise anybody that comes into stream tonight, I'm going to be starting stream here in a couple hours, starting at around 5 Central and going till maybe 10 or 10:30 Central. If you come into stream tonight, I promise I will help you get these 2 Bento tokens. If you do not already have a team or ability to get these, I'll be helping these all night, so make sure you come on by if you need this. Now, importantly, what do these Bento tokens do, right? They are going to give us some potential rewards. So we've got, I can just go through all the possible rewards. We've got Ascendant Alloys, Ascendant Shards, Exotic Ciphers, Spoils of Conquest, a bunch of different mementos that have existed in the game before, everywhere from Gambit, Nightfall, Iron Banner, Lost Memento, Dawning Memento, Games Memento, and Solstice Memento. I think this is pretty much all the mementos that are in the game, other than like Trials and Raid ones, but anything that's not those, I believe this is pretty much any other one. There is also Artifice Armor. And then there are quite a few weapons here. And so I'm going to go over my personal thoughts on recommendations on what I would get. Starting with actually the Artifice Armor. Artifice Armor here, pretty bad. The stat rolls are not good. I haven't looked at the Titan or the Hunter ones, but I don't think they're particularly great either. Now, the one thing I would recommend out of the Artifice Armor is if, let's say, you have no Artifice Armor whatsoever, the class item is very, very, very useful. This is literally just always going to be best in slot in terms of class items, right? Because the Artifice Armor, there's no stats on class items, and Artifice Armor just allows you to get the additional +3 stat here. So if you don't have a class item Artifice piece on a certain character, I would definitely recommend grabbing this at the very least. Kind of similarly to that, I'd look at the weapons. Cloud Strike I would not personally recommend at all. It's not too difficult to get and honestly isn't particularly great, but you know, if you really want to go for it, sure. But out of these weapons, the Cataphract, especially if you're not really a Trials person, is a huge recommendation. This is actually what I'm going to be picking up. The Envious Bait and Switch roll here is extremely, extremely good. This is extremely, extremely meta for any sort of PvE DPS, and even let's say if you have a good Edge Transit or the VS Chill inhibitor from the newest dungeon with a very, very solid roll, still worth picking up because this is a strand version of a grenade launcher, right? And so if you play GMs, you play Master Raids at all, or anything that has surges, it is very, very beneficial to have different damage types for, you know, getting that 25% damage boost if there's a strand surge and, you know, not stasis or not void for some of the other GLs that, you know, are very top tier here. But there's a strand surge, then you have this option. And it's also a depth that's even a little bit of an extra boost. But again, the main thing here is the fact that it's a strand weapon and will be very beneficial for certain surges. Now, these other weapons, Igneous Hammer is more of a PvP thing. I'm not too worried about it. Same with Horror's Lease, to be quite honest. I mean, it could be usable in PvE, but nothing too exciting. Now, the Riptide, definitely worth if you don't already have a decent Riptide. Riptide is very good with Chill Clip. Compulsive Reloader is a nice combination with Chill Clip as well, as that's going to allow you to reload quickly and keep the chill clip stacking so that if you have more than half of your mag reloaded in the mag at that moment. Now again, Riptide is not particularly difficult to come by, I would say, in terms of getting some Crucible engrams and being able to get these from shacks anyway. But if you don't already have a Riptide, or just really don't like Crucible, or just have no interest in Crucible, or just have nothing else to really spend it on, then definitely a worthy weapon to go for here. Now let's say you already have those weapons, and you already have the class item, right? Next thing I'd honestly recommend is the spoils potentially. If you're not really much of a raider, or if you're missing some of the exotics on the wall, Anarchy, Teraba, etc. Spoils definitely can be worth getting. 25 spoils is pretty nice, and again could be boosting you towards getting that next exotic from the raids. Again, Anarchy is definitely a very good one, I would say. But any of them are interesting. Even Acreus, if you don't already have that one as well. Any of them are definitely good for towards your collections. And then exotic cipher is not too bad too. I mean, like again, the Ascendant Oys and shards are fine, but these are reasonably easier to come by, I would say. It depends on what you do in the game. If you don't really do GMs, then maybe shards are a little harder to come by. But you can always upgrade prisms to shards at Rahul. You can always buy these at Rahul. So again, these are a little bit less rare, or like less difficult to come by. I would say the ciphers are a little bit more difficult to come by. There's not as many you can get, and it's a little bit pretty, not even a little bit, pretty grindy to finish that cipher each week from Zerv by doing strikes and all of that. So if you're missing out on some ciphers, again, you're going to need these for both getting new exotics, especially for potentially next season if there's any new exotics coming out, which I assume there will be armor-wise. We need ciphers to get that first one from Rahul, so if you don't already have some ciphers, this could be good to kind of prep for next season. And then also, even if not, ciphers are now used for making your exotic armor Artifice, which if I can find one that isn't already Artifice, I think most of the ones on me already are Artifice. Maybe this one's not. Yeah, here we go. So again, if you see here, it costs Glimmer and an exotic cipher to turn your exotic armor into an Artifice piece. So again, ciphers can be nice for that. So again, kind of TLDR, my recommendations are kind of equivalently the class item and the Cataphract, I think, are the top two things I would go for out of these Bento tokens. Then after that, maybe the Chillclip Riptide and Spoils, and then kind of after that, Ciphers. And if you have all of that already, you don't really need any of that already. Again, Shards and Alloys if you're not already capped. And if you have everything, then you can, go into the mementos and just spend them on whichever one you think looks best. Doesn't really matter. Out of these, I would say, honestly, the Nightfall mementos pretty easy to come by if you're doing GMs and they're not really too time gated. The Gambit memento drops decently often too, unless you hate Gambit. So I'd probably focus more on maybe one of these last four, because these are pretty time gated in terms of they only drop during their events. Again, doesn't really. This is not really like something that matters or a meta thing. That's more of just a you thing. If there's one you like more, just ignore what I'm saying. But again, just something to keep in mind. And that's all for today. I hope this video was helpful, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day. And don't forget to come on by stream if you do need help with those raid/dungeon bento tokens.